Welcome to Herf Zone Live. I'm here every Tuesday to bring you the best content weekly. Be sure to subscribe on YouTube, search for Team Shirtless Mike, and follow on Facebook at Shirtless Mike. You can reach out to me on Instagram at Team Shirtless Mike, see what goes on in my life, and hopefully I can see what goes on in yours. Well, while we're waiting on people to join us in the chat and everything, I want to thank you guys once again for tuning in. I got an awesome show lined up tonight. Tonight we got Boston Jimmie from Stogie Press, and we're gonna catch up with him. You know, he's been a guest on the show several times over the last couple of years, and if it wasn't for Boston Jimmie, there would be no Shirtless Mike in the way that you know me now. So let me just get everything set up and squared away here and all that good stuff. So, without further ado, uh, from the Hustler Universe Podcast Network Green Room, where you'll find the Cigar Hustlers podcast and the Chet and Palmer Shit Show. Welcome to Herf Zone Live, Boston Jimmie. What's going on, brother?
Hey,
AKA my twin.
nice hat.
I know, right? I mean, I think I'm
Now,
the follower on this because I was like, I got the same hat. Let's wear it.
now you know why you wearing that hat? Well, you know why I'm wearing this hat?
Why are you wearing the hat?
I'm wearing this hat not only because it's cool as crap. Okay, anybody that thinks it's not don't know good hats. This is smoke in, but because they are right now the top of the heap in raising money for my client for autism with over $1,250 and growing. So they are number one. Anybody else wants on board, keep going, get out there, get the word. We'll be talking about that later. But Smoke In right now is leading the pack. Thank you,
Most
Abe.
definitely. Yeah, shouts out to Smoking, shouts out to Abe. That was a good episode Saturday with KMA, and I watched a good portion of it, mostly just the Boston Jimmie portion of it, and it was awesome. So we're gonna get into that, but before then, because we got to lead people in and everything. So, what have you been up to? You've been going through dramatic changes. You know, of course, I've seen, everybody out there knows that we see each other. We live close to each other. We see each other all the time. But what have you been? You're like half the man you were.
I'm half the man. No, I'm 2/3 of the man. I always say 2/3. So I sit here and I work out every day. Okay, right here. All right. I do taekwondo 3, 4 days a week. I'm on a nice diet. I lost 60, 70 pounds easily in a year. And I feel great. So I'm on this journey. I said, I'm not getting any younger. My wife and I both decided we needed to lose weight. The pandemic was horrible for us. Everybody put weight on. So I said, nope, that's over. Never going back. Went from 43 waist to a 36 slim, double XLs to a large, even sometimes a medium. I feel wonderful, and it's really showing. Although I'm a little tired because I work too much, but other than that, I feel great.
Nice. So you've lost the weight. Like what kind of? I mean, the pandemic, was terrible for a lot of us. But like, what kind of inspired you to just go ahead and put in the work and lose the weight?
I made a promise to my son that when he graduated with his doctorate, we were going to go climb Mount Fuji. We'll get into that story in a little bit. And he came to my house during the pandemic, right near the end, and I was a little overweight, to say the least. And he took one look at me, and he had just got his doctorate, and he goes, "I guess we're not going to climb that mountain." And I said, "Why? The pandemic will be over. The doors will open up eventually. We'll get over to Japan." He goes, "No, look at you. You're a fat bastard. There's no way you're going to climb that mountain." And I said, "Well, I made you a promise. I never broke a promise yet to you, have I? So I'm losing the weight." And he says, and he chuckled. He says, "I'll see it. We'll see." And I did. And now he's like, "Wow, let's go climb a mountain, Dad. Have a good time." So that was
Yeah.
the main incentive. Plus the fact that my wife started losing weight because she was on it, doing it first because she had she had some medical issues that most diets didn't work. So she went and started losing weight, and I saw her weight loss beginning. And I was like, wait a second, you don't normally lose weight in any of these crazy diets because she doesn't, she has all kinds of food aversions.
Yeah.
You can't eat a lot of the things that even a diet would say you can eat. So, very difficult person to be on a controlled diet. So, she was able to get onto Weight Watchers. You can eat anything you want as long as you just count the points. I saw her lose weight. I said, well, okay, between the incentive for my son and you losing weight, put me on the diet. You do all my cooking. So, go make me that great food within the right portions, with the right points. And that's what we did. We counted points for a year. And I lost the weight. And now I'm in this zone where even if I put weight on like 4 or 5, I was in business in Madrid last month or so, and I put on like 8 pounds. When I came back, I took it off within a week because my body is snapping right back as soon as you get right back into your regiments and everything. So I'm. This is me. This is 2/3 Boston Jimmie.
Yeah, and for those who have not seen him in person yet, it's gonna be a shock to your eyes at first. Because when I, the first time seeing you in person, after not seeing each other that much, and I saw you in your new physical form, I was like, man, this guy is like, it was such a shock. I was almost like, he's a completely different person. Now I'm, it's the same old Boston Jimmie, but now that my eyes have adjusted, it just kind of happened, and in order to, you've been getting into exercising. I know, you work at home. You said you've been lifting weights and everything, but you've also got into jujitsu,
Taekwondo.
taekwondo.
I do
I was scared I
taekwondo.
was gonna fuck that up, but so
That's
yeah.
okay.
So
Any
tell us
martial
about
art is
getting
good.
into that.
So, 20 something years ago, my son, same son, we did taekwondo together, and he got up to like a red belt, and I was just below him, a blue belt, because I never wanted to surpass him, so I wasn't going to push myself. But he decided he wanted to go play soccer, and I said to my now ex-wife, I said, you probably don't want him to go into soccer yet until he gets that black belt, because that'll be an accomplishment, which would be good for him. Well, nobody listens to Boston Jimmie sometimes, so off he went, and he stopped Taekwondo just as I knew he would, because he's too busy doing other stuff. And of course, I fell out too because I have to go to soccer games and there's other stuff with him. So all of a sudden, I'm not doing it. So I stopped. So when I decided to do what I did to lose weight, my wife, she does Pilates, and she goes, just do Pilates with me. I said, well, first of all, Pilates is during the day. I really don't have time. And two, I'm not just going to sit around doing. I don't want to do Pilates. I don't know Pilates. I know Pilates is good for you, but I got to do something that I'm familiar with. I'm going to go back to Taekwondo. So I looked for my old dojo in Sensei, and the dojo was reacquired by another husband-wife team, and it's the same dojo as Brevard Martial Arts, but the original sensei passed away. So she took it over. She actually trained with me back 20 years ago. So she's like a fifth degree black belt.
Oh, nice.
So I went in there with my blue belt, with a big belly and everything, this big old man, and a whole bunch of kids are in there, right? Everything from 6 years or 7 years old up to like 16 or so. And introduced myself, told her, I showed her my belt. She goes, okay, well, welcome back. We're glad to have you. So take your position in class, which at that point, because I was there were no red belts in the class. So the highest belt in the class at that moment was just blue. And because it goes by belt rank, senior student is the oldest of the belt. So I'm now the senior student, right? And I stood there in the front of the class, in the rows, and I'm like, I don't remember anything. Okay, I tried to review some of the stuff, and it's like, this stuff's gonna have to come back to me. And I'm watching these little kids and these teenagers doing all this really cool stuff, and I'm just like, I couldn't do a side kick, I couldn't do a front, I forget it. Tried to do a jump kick, I fell on my ass. I look like the biggest spaz, right? And I still don't have the fluidity that I should, but I picked it back up, and I was determined. I said, there's tenets of Taekwondo. One of them is an indomitable spirit. You just don't quit. You just go do it. So I'm now working on my last stripe on my blue belt, and then after that I'll go red. So I should, if all goes well, test for a black belt in about a year or so from now. And
Nice.
We don't just give belts away. All right, you got to be ready. You got to know everything. So hopefully I'll do that. I'm breaking boards now, and
total transformation.
Yeah, I even told the Boutique Cigar Association team on the when I was talking to DAV Cigars the other week with Armin. I said, they're going to do it down in South Florida this year, the BCA event instead of Indiana. And I said, there was one guy there. He does it. He does martial arts too. I said, let's do a board breaking contest. Let's just have boards, and let's get the martial art guys go out there. Let's just start busting boards up. It would be so much fun. I mean, how okay, one each. Okay, now 2 boards. Now 3 boards. See how far we can go.
Heck yeah, man. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that transformation, and just getting into something that you were once a part of and just rekindling that. So we're gonna move on here to the topic of the evening, just how to get everybody warmed up here. So what before we get into the climb, but what got you interested, in about autism, research and stuff like that?
So the center of the universe right now, obviously in this conversation, is my son Dominic.
Mm-hmm.
And Dominic, he went to he got his undergraduate in Miami, biology and marine science, but he ended up getting into a very special program at Vanderbilt University about 8 years ago. And it's a very select group of people they bring in, and it's a doctoral program, and you rotate. He had to go into different labs to do all his research and study, and he finally settled in one lab to finalize all his work and do his papers and his dissertation. And that was focused on looking for new drug pathways in the brain for what's called the Fragile X syndrome. Okay, the Fragile X syndrome is one of the causes of autism, and he was looking for different ways to have how the brain reacts to certain therapies and how they can use that to help calm or mediate some of the symptoms. And so his whole research was on basically brain autism. So he wrote 6 papers on it, and I was like, when I made this promise that we were going to go to Fuji when he got his doctorate, I said, well, you taught me a lot about autism over the last 6 years. Why don't we do one thing better, and why don't we turn this event into something even bigger? And I started a charity on Autism Speaks. So there's a campaign out there that we have, and that campaign right now is to raise as much money as we can between now and July, when we do the mountain climb, to see how much we can raise for autism. We've raised already over $4,000. That's a drop in the bucket. I do believe that the cigar community can really come out in force if the message gets out. Thank you for having me on the show, because I want to keep getting the message out. If you get out there and donate, we've been giving prizes away. We gave a bunch of prizes away last night. So as I connect with more of the industry, we'll be getting some more, maybe even hopefully bigger and bigger prizes as the dollar values goes up. So we've actually we set the bar at 3,000, but I eclipsed 3,000 over the weekend to 4,000. So I was like, it happened in an instant. All right. And I was like, boom, okay, we're at 4. We got to give some stuff away. So now the next bar is 6,000. So if we reach $6,000, we're going to be giving some more stuff away. And then from there, um, this industry, if every single consumer was to forego just one cigar on one night, that's it, and drop $10 on that charity, we could easily raise $100,000. And what's cool about it, it would go so far for outreach for the cigar community to be able to say, look what we did for autism. Everybody, we are 1 degree separated from somebody on the spectrum. You know
Yep.
somebody, I know everybody that's
Yep.
listening.
My
You all
youngest
know
brother.
somebody. Yep. Everybody knows somebody that's on the spectrum. So why not push it out there and see if we can help do the best we can? And the idea is if everybody can donate, we can turn this around and besides that, we can go to like PCA and say, here, this is what the cigar industry primarily, don't get me wrong, there's other people, I have friends and family and donate too, but here's the primary fundraising came out of this industry. Um, Use this in outreach. We love Cigars for Warriors, great charity. We're always sending cigars over. We're doing all this great stuff. We love the Fuente charity, what they do, and some of the other charities. But this one, we are every one of us is impacted by this in one way or another, and it would be helpful to really make it happen. I want to see. I'd love to see more. I mean, I would love to eclipse 6,000 this week and just keep pressing on, man. Because at the end, when we climb this mountain, whoever raises the most money, and the way we do this is when you, let's say you're shirtless Mike fans, if they donate to this, they will. You'll have to point them to the campaign link.
Yeah, yeah. I was about to say I was waiting for you to stop so to interrupt you. So, in the description on YouTube and on Facebook, I included the Stogie Press link, which will take you right to the campaign, and you can make your donations on there. Uh, and whether it's if you're catching a live, I have been kind of inconsistent with this show, so I don't have a lot of live viewers, but people will catch it after the fact. So make sure you click that, and then when you make your donation, and it will say your name, and make sure you put like Team Shirtless Mike,
Yeah, yeah.
because I mean
When you
this is
donate,
a team effort, so I
yeah,
figured might as well
but
put Team Shirtless Mike.
when you donate, put your name in for your donation and just go and just put a dash next to it and say shirtless team shirtless Mike. And I'll see I have a dashboard that I have from Autism Speaks. I see every time as donations come in. I can watch that dashboard and I see all the names, and all those names I will go through and tally up whatever group, shop, brand, whatever has raised the most money collectively. They will get at the top of the mountain when the sun rises over Japan. My son and I, with their branded gear or cigar or whatever, taking a photo of it, and we'll be shouting out as top of the heap. We'll be talking about that for quite a while. There'll be an article written. We're going to document the whole thing in both photos and video on the whole climb, just to explain what it's like to climb Mount Fuji. But there'll also be there'll be 3 more levels of that climb where I will randomly pick brands that have raised money, and they'll get a shout out photo thing on different levels of the mountain. So we're going to do 4 of them, with the top being the top of the heap.
That's awesome. Now, everybody out there watching, this is a big thing. This is awesome. So if you're hearing the sound of my, I'm gonna be like the old school televangelist. If you're hearing the sound of my voice, make sure you click that link. Make sure make sure you make a donation. Not everyone's big money, but shoot, $10. Just
Bucks,
you
man.
know, that's what I did, and I'm going to be donating some more as well. Actually, after the show, because I got to make another donation to another campaign too. So, I'm going to make another donation after the show. All it takes is $10. If 50 people see this, 100 people see this after the fact, that's quite a bit of money, and he's closer to his goal. So, we're going to talk a little bit about the actual experience. You guys are going to be a part of a group that's going, right? It's not just going to be you and Dominic.
So
Just
yeah,
tell us
so
about that.
what we did, you can climb Mount Fuji on your own. All right, there are multiple trails to go up the mountain, but I didn't want to do this the first time without at least having somebody that knows what the hell they're doing.
Oh,
Right?
absolutely.
We're obviously, it's going to be me, Dominic, and Dominic's girlfriend. Now, Dominic's girlfriend's a physician, all right, a medical doctor.
So you have a doctor with you.
I have a doctor. I have a doctor and a PhD with me. I got some smart people walking with me. So if something was to happen to me, I got somebody there immediately to deal with the problem. But having a group, and I don't think it's a big group. It's probably maybe 6 people. I'm sure it's not large, and we're going to be 3 of them. So you basically climbing that mountain. It's 13,000 feet, and you're going in July. So we start at 5,000 basically. You don't start at 0. You start at 5, and then you work. There's the trails. You start working up. And by the end of the first day, late afternoon or so, I think it's like 8 hours or something of 8 to 9 hours of climbing. You get up around 12, maybe less than 12, maybe 11:05, something like that, and there's a hut, and you basically eat, and then you bunk down early, and you wake up at 1:30 in the morning, and then you climb to the summit for the sunrise, and to get to the summit's another 3 hours. The whole trail, the whole time of walking. So even though it's basically almost 2 miles up from where you start, you're walking for 9 miles.
Oh, wow.
Okay? So it's a 9-mile hike. Majority of that is in the first day. All right. And you're doing all these switchbacks along the mountain, these small pathways you got to go up. And that's why you got a guide. They know what they're doing, as you go through. But it's not something that is like Mount Everest. So it's not like I'm bringing pickaxes and ropes and this and that.
Yeah. I mean, so
this all the time.
Yeah, so you can just walk it, hike up there, walk it. You're not having to have extra gear like that.
Yeah. Well, you still need a backpack because you still got to bring water.
Of course.
You can get water along the mountain range, but you still need to hydrate. You do need a couple of cans of oxygen just in case, because you are going to be at high altitudes and the oxygen thins out. So that is an issue. That is probably the number one issue. So if you feel you're getting depleted of oxygen, you need a little boost. You got to bring these oxygen cans with you. And so the mountain is basically snow-capped year-round at the top. All right.
Yeah.
And so the very top of that mountain is freezing cold. When you start, it's going to be probably easily 70 degrees, 65 degrees in the morning, whatever, when you start. So it's going to be warm, all intensively. And then as you climb, it's going to get cooler, right? The winds pick up as you get higher up in altitude. You can get flash storms that come through, right? So the wind, rain, sleet, snow, hail, okay, can whack in out of nowhere. So you got to have some rainproof gear with you. You got to have proper hiking boots. You want to have proper hiking poles, walking poles, and you're going to need some layering of clothing, and not overdoing it, but some a fleece jacket or whatever, and some coveralls on your legs, and so you're going to be you'll be adding layers at different levels, okay, because it's going to be cold at the top. I have seen people do this in their shorts, Okay, don't get me wrong. They're all crazy people in the world. I'm trying not to be crazy.
Trying to be sensible.
There you go.
Most definitely. I gotta take a quick break here and read off my next sponsor, real quick, and we're just gonna continue catching up because you're one of our more regular guests. So,
So,
and for the
Mike,
people,
before you do that, just I don't know if you can see that. There you go. If people scan that right there that are watching or later, you
yeah.
scan that QR code.
Here, I'm gonna
It'll
try to
take
do it real
you
quick.
it'll take you right to the Autism Speaks.
Oh,
Hold on, let me see.
hold it back up. Let's see. I'm trying to.
You get it?
Didn't come up yet because this phone has a QR code
Okay.
reader. That's why I'm just trying to make sure it.
Yeah, basically
Wait,
all they got to do is go to stogiepress.com and click
yeah.
on
Either way,
it.
the link is down there for people to click it and everything. So,
I just don't want people going directly to Autism Speaks and donating and think they donated to this campaign
oh yeah.
because
Well, the Stogie Press link is there. So,
right, right.
yeah, most definitely. So, I gotta. So yeah, I gotta read out. So I'll be right back here. We're gonna give our sponsors a shout out real quick. All right. So, Herf Zone Live is sponsored by Nomos Cigars, rated 91 in Cigars and Spirits magazine. Nomos is a full-bodied 6x56 cigar that features a rich, full flavor accomplished with a high-quality construction and exclusive aging process. Once the fine cigar is born, it immediately begins our exclusive Nomos Aging Process nap. While each cigar naps, it continues to develop its unique aroma and flavor that sets itself apart from any other cigar the world over. It is a delicious medium smoke resulting from the finely aged Cameroon wrapper and blend of 8-year-old seco Dominican filler and 5-year-old Nicaragua criollo filler. The Indonesian Sumatran binder finishes the cigar ingredients with the finest quality tobacco available. This exclusive blend provides a beautiful smoke right down to the last nub. Check out nomoscigars.com for info on where to find retailers that carry Nomos cigars. Orders also available on their website. Also follow them on Instagram at Nomos Cigars. Alrighty. So we reached the point of this show. We've talked a lot about what you been up to, what's going on with the climb, but let's get back into just catching up. How are things in the Stogie Press universe?
We are rocking, Mike. This year has already eclipsed um, from a monthly viewership last year's numbers as we go on. Where we have a good chance at the end of this year to have had 1 million viewers by the end of the year. Okay,
Nice.
all time. All right, so I'm looking for that major milestone number. Um, and it's if you average that out, it would be about 100,000 a year, but it's not. This year alone, we may have 250,000 views just this year. That's the kind of numbers that have been going up. So I'm really happy with that. Obviously, taking it to the nub has been going into its fourth year now. That's obviously moving along nicely. We have a newsletter that goes out every Sunday now that recaps everything on the site. Um, everything has been clicking on all cylinders. It keeps me busy, obviously, when I'm not working. Um, and it can be tiring because you're dedicating the rest of your day to just cigars and cigar talk and cigar knowledge.
Oh
But
yeah.
it's the passion I have. It's what I do. My wife knows I'm out here all the time doing this, which is better to have me here than gallivanting around town.
Exactly. She knows where you are. It's like people that's locked up.
That's it.
The old lady knows where you are. Except you're free and you're free to come and go as you please, but you're just gonna stay locked in the Stogie Press lounge.
That's it. That's it. We've been talking about redesigning the lounge too. She wants a kitchen first. So, she wins that battle. But once that happens, where hopefully in another year and a half, I'm going to start doing some work in here and redo the floor, the ceiling, redo all the walls, take all the decorations and redesign the whole thing. Make it a much more elaborate place to be hanging out.
Heck yeah, I mean it's already really nice. It's like a living room in your garage. You got your inside, but you have the beauty of the outside. Especially on a nice night, stuff like
And we
that.
got AC, and we have
And
AC.
there's AC.
Right?
So during the hot
76.
months, and you got the rabbit air in there.
That's it.
Nothing else more that you need. So, have you smoked? Let me ask you this, because I've gotten to a rut of I pretty much, I smoke a lot of the same stuff, which they're all great cigars and everything, and I'll still smoke new stuff and everything. But has there been any cigars that you reviewed lately that's just like wow, and then you got to keep going back to it because like it really just hits you, or no?
Davidoff Millennium, Lancero, hands down, awesome cigar. Right? I had that cigar. I was over at Executive, picked up one, smoked it, was like, dang, this is a good cigar. Picked up another one, went home, let it rest for a couple of weeks, went and revisited it again, and I was just absolutely blown away. Phenomenal cigar. Davidoff did a great job on that.
Nice.
Another cigar that I've been talking a lot about to people is one that I discovered in Spain when I was over there on business. And I stopped into a shop that had just a beautiful humidor, tons of cigars. And you would think you were in Spain, it'd be all Cubans and stuff and a little bit of what we like. No, it's completely opposite. It's everything we like: Dominican, Honduran, Nicaraguan, all the brands that we love and endear, from Drew Estate to Davidoff to kind of name some of the small ones. They're in there. Anything that's being pushed in the European market, this guy has. And a little tiny, literally 2 foot by 2 foot section in the whole humidor for Cubans, which was shockingly weird. And they can't get them anymore because they get sent over to China now. China owns part of Habanos, so they just raise the prices ridiculously, and they're too expensive when they can get them, and they don't really get much.
Yeah.
So I was scanning the humidor, and I was like, now guys like you and me were like, okay, we already had those. I had that. I know that, and I'm just looking for things that maybe are just Spanish only or European market only. And I came across a cigar called an El Viejo Continente.
Yes.
What caught my attention?
You gave me one, and it was phenomenal. I forgot to tell you that it was fucking phenomenal.
What caught my attention, though, is as I'm looking at this, and they had their line on there, but there was a Lancero, which is what I gave you, that caught my eye because it was dark and it was oily and it was toothy and it was very well constructed. And I was like, I picked it up. I'm like, oh, this looks like a really nice cigar. Now, looks aren't always telling. I've had great looking cigars that taste like garbage. Okay, yep. What they did. So I was like, So I buy two and got some other stuff. And I'm walking down the streets of Madrid with my colleague, and I fire one up, and I'm like, dang, this is a pretty nice cigar, right? And oh, by the way, it was like $7 when you do the conversion from euros to dollars, right? It was like $7.
Nice.
And I was like, I got to get more of these. So I went back on a couple of days later when I was back in the city, and I bought a box of them. And of course, people that know me, I've been giving them away to different people. And yeah, you can get those at Neptune Cigars, I found out, in America. So I called her. I got a hold of the guy. I've been texting him back and forth. I'm going to try to get him on my show in another week or so. But he told me, he goes, yeah, we got him in Neptune. He doesn't have them anywhere else, from what I understand. And I'm like, you need to be more in the American market with these. And if you go to Neptune, they're actually, with the discount they do, Neptune thing, whatever they do, it's like $6.30. Buy a box of it, it's like $6.30. And I'm like, that cigar is amazing. And for the price, it's phenomenal. right? So I'm all about that. So I did really enjoy that one. Um, I am enjoying this DAV. And my thing is all blurry for some reason. I don't know what happened here. I got to adjust the focal length. This DAV Anniversario that it just came out with last year. So these are really nice cigars. Um, those are the ones that are really, I mean, when you ask me immediately what's in my head, those are cigars that hit me right away. There, I can go down a list of things, but where do you want to start?
I know, right? Like I should have Stogie Press open right now, but I mean, I still watch the site and everything, and it's I've seen, I mean, I know I assisted in making sure you got the Magic One by Rockefeller Cigars, even though I thought,
And that
you
was
know,
decent. That was a decent cigar. I mean, I'm
it was
not
a
going to
pretty
say,
good rating too. I
you know,
saw, so it was,
yeah. I mean, it's not his. I think his original Lancero was better. You know, um, I don't know. Have you tried? Have you tried the Oscar Valadares Heaven and Hell?
yes, um,
The one with the opens up with the wings on the side.
yeah, that was
That's
that was
cool
pretty
packaging.
decent. Yeah, that was pretty decent. I mean, it wasn't something that wowed me, but it had cool packaging. It was a good cigar. Like I don't know, lately a lot of cigars haven't really wowed me like that, so I just continue to go to a lot of the same stuff, and when I try something new, probably the cigar that's maybe wowed me the most is the Room 101 13th anniversary, the Stinky Pinky, and
Okay.
we sold a crap ton of those. Like me and Angela, when we agree that a cigar is good for some reason, like everybody trusts our opinion and our palate, and those things, we sold the most out of that cigar in the state of Florida.
Nice.
I was talking with John Gallagher, and he said that he looked at the numbers and everything, and our shop sold the most of the Room 101 13th anniversary in the state of Florida. So that's like bigger retailers than us, all that, like state of Florida, which was pretty. I mean that's a feat right there. So
Hmm.
that cigar's probably been one of my favorite cigars this year. But I mean the stuff that constantly go back to is all solid. My La Aroma de Cuba Churchill. That's something. It's just for the price, you really can't beat it. It's like in the $9 range now. It used to be like even with the price increases, it's still keeping up with how good the cigar is.
The other one that I liked too was the new Villa at the Nicaragua. Their LE.
Nice.
So that was another one that was really good. And have you uh, have you tried any of uh, the new West Side Stories from Amendola?
No, not the West Side Story. I've smoked some of the other stuff,
Hmm.
which I'm pretty sure once I get a hold of one, I'm sure I'll enjoy it because those guys, you know, they make these great cigars. So
What about the Knuckle Sandwich Connecticut?
yes,
A1. That's another. That's
we
another
sell
one.
that. We sell that. That's been a cigar that has been, as far as Connecticut's goes, it's been my favorite Connecticut so far this year.
That is another one of these phenomenal cigars.
Yeah, and right
Absolutely.
around the time we went to the Great Smoke, I was smoking it on the way to the Great Smoke, and then I ran into Eric, and I was like, "Bro, this cigar is fucking awesome." I had a couple of them, so that one's been really. The knuckle sandwich has been doing really good for us. Believe it or not, the Habano has been selling better than the Maduro. And then after that, the
Okay.
Connecticut, is the second in line that's been selling pretty good.
Yeah, the Connecticut. I mean, it's not your average Connecticut. I mean, they have it amped up in the inside, so it's getting a lot of flavor. It's not getting just a lot of the bland normal Connecticut flavors. So they did a good job. I mean, and it doesn't hurt that the guy that you're partnering with to make those cigars, he's hands on with the blending with Eric and the team and Hector,
Oh
right?
yeah,
So, Guy Fieri is not a celebrity who just slaps his name on a cigar. He actually smokes cigars and he smokes good cigars. So
absolutely. I mean, the proof
he
is in
knows
the
what he
pudding.
likes.
And from all the interviews that I've seen, he just seems like real genuine. He even said like, like Eric was like, I don't want to, a lot of celebrity cigars, they fail. He's like, no, I'm trying to do this different. Like, I'm not just going to slap my name on something. And I mean, he's delivered, so I'm definitely happy for him. I'm glad we carry that cigar and it's doing great. I smoked a knuckle sandwich Corona Gorda today, the Habano.
Nice. Nice.
Freaking awesome. I'll probably smoke the Connecticut in the morning.
Yeah.
So before we get out of here, anything else been going on that you wanted to put out there in the verse?
Like I think I mentioned you pre-show. I think I'm going to be at Corona Cigars in Lake Mary on Friday for a Cinco de Mayo party with Casa 1910. So if anybody's in that area of Florida or up there, just above Orlando, Casa 1910, truly Mexican cigar. You might have seen the show I did with them and also some of their reviews of their cigars. They're going to be hosting a Cinco de Mayo party. So they're going to have a mariachi band. There could be obviously tequila and other things and some debauchery, I'm sure. So it should be a fun night on Friday night. And I think it starts at 6 o'clock. So I'll probably, if I get up there, I'll be up there around 6:30. So I'll get out of here around 5 to drive. It takes an hour. So I'm planning that. That's my one thing. And then I'll have Mario Carabella on Saturday.
Heck yeah.
Carabella Cigars. So that should be a fun show. He's got a hell of a story about where he's at, where he's come from and stuff. So other than that, yeah, we just keep pressing on here. It's got bond smokers are coming up. You going to any bond smokers this year?
I was thinking about it, and then the longer I wait, I may not be able to get a ticket. I know it's in November, so I have time to plan, but there's about to be a little bit of changes around the shop, so I'll have to see.
Yeah, because you got they don't have the Kentucky one anymore.
Yeah.
Right? So you got Connecticut, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, and Florida. So I've been to Connecticut, always end up in Florida. So I don't know. I might see if I can make it to the Pennsylvania one. I'll see what happens.
Most definitely. Well, before we get out of here, I just want to reiterate to everybody out there, make sure you hit the link. That's the Stogie Press link. I will take you directly to his fundraiser. Make sure when you put your name, make sure you also do a dash and Team Shirtless Mike, and that will show up there, all that good stuff. And so, yeah, Jimmy, I appreciate you for coming on the show tonight. And everybody out there that's watching, if this is your first time, make sure you hit that subscribe button and all that good stuff. Leave comments. I'm going to put this out all over the internet as well. You guys have a great night. I'll let you know when we're not